Hey everyone, it's HeadChime and Perzan here, and today we're talking about taking first turn. So we're going to talk a little bit about the different goals that you can have when you take first turn, and then we're going to give some examples by looking at a couple of different maps and lists and how you might go about the first turn.
hmm
Yeah. So any thoughts, Perzan, immediately?
Yeah, so taking first turn, this is something that is less common for us Hakistan folks, but this is actually like a very strong first turn push setup for the Icon army on
Hmm.
the red side.
Hmm.
And also, of course, depends on the mission.
Hmm.
And the table, we assume, is set up for supremacy because of the layout of the consoles,
Hmm.
etc.
Right, so on this
Uh,
table we've
so
got four objectives in quadrants, so it looks like something like supremacy, something similar to that.
yeah,
Yeah.
something that is called like at least at the end of the game, but possibly every turn, at the end
Hmm.
of the every turn. So there is a potential for the second player to outmaneuver the first player
Hmm.
every turn and score points. So you have to like actually prioritize your targets and choose your targets wisely
Hmm.
and be pretty efficient with it.
Right. So, um, I think even when you're playing first, you've still got to have your eyes on how you're actually playing the mission. And what I mean by that is, it's one thing to get aggressive and to remove enemy pieces, but the more relevant question is which pieces am I removing and are they actually relevant in a way? Because you don't want to go gunning after something that just doesn't really matter, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. So, I think on this map here, we've got the Aconte Cemento force playing first. They've got a reasonably standard Acon list. Standardish. So they've got the classic core fire team with snipers. There's a regular sniper here, and a Bagmari sniper up here. Then they've got the regulars with the sensor and the mines. So I believe this camo marker is a mine. There we go. Yep. I'm not sure about that one. That's a mine as well. So that probably belongs to this guy, I'm guessing. Not entirely sure. I'm not
I
super
think the
well
regular
versed.
supper,
That
like
one,
one of
sure.
them has,
What?
yeah,
Yeah.
this guy is
Oh,
a
it
mine
would.
layer and this guy is a mine layer. Yeah,
Sure.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
they
So it's these two.
provide two mines.
So this is your defensive core link with two snipers. Moving over to the left, we've got the tag, the Jodagao, which has the hyper rapid magnetic cannons. That's a huge burst 5 gun with BS-15, very powerful in the active turn. And then round the back, we've got some things like flash pulse bots and like a forward observer bot, that kind of stuff. Um, Total reaction remote on the far left, and then moving into
It's in
the
the second
middle.
group.
Yeah, that's a second group, isn't it? Yeah, there.
hmm
And then in the middle, I think we've got some Nagas. Yeah, there's one here.
hmm
So that's
And one here.
yeah, one there, one there. Cool.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
hacker. And this is an FO, I think.
forward observer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Nagas are quite nice. They're like BS-12 infiltrating camo dudes, basically, with dogged as well, so they can take a hit and keep fighting till the end of the turn. So they're quite nice for that.
hmm
What else is there to say? I believe, unless I'm mistaken, this list is playing with 15 orders on turn one. I think.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. I just counted them and like put them here.
right.
So it's
Right.
fully stacked, like with 10 orders in group one
Mhm.
plus the Dragaos tactical awareness
Oh,
order.
sure. Yeah. Okay.
And then you have five orders in the second group for the Sierra and the Machinist
Right.
and the second Naga. So the spread of the orders is pretty good,
Mhm.
I would say.
Right.
The other thing of note is that this link is like deployed and it is very immobile.
Mhm.
How it is deployed, like this guy is the anchor. They are moving around, but the other sniper is also deployed like in a position that doesn't allow the link to actually move anywhere.
Right. Because they're stuck on the top of these buildings, so they'd have to climb down. It just makes it really hard to go anywhere.
Yeah, and like forgo the supper bonus, which
Mhm.
is pretty
Which
huge.
is nice. Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Um. So playing Pano first turn, obviously this is a shooting faction, so we'd hope that
Yeah,
they would probably get
I
aggressive.
think we should talk a bit about what we have deployed on the other side, because
Yeah.
it also defines where are our attack vectors. We
Right.
just have to assume that the Dragao was the reserve drop.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you drop the tag
And
last.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, especially if it's your main attack piece that you're going first.
Should
And
we have
on
a
the
look
other
at the
side,
nomads? Yep.
yeah, definitely. So there's a line of troops in the back, and then there are lots of camos up front.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is actually, I think, in hidden deployment.
Yeah, the camo up there is in hidden deployment. Yep.
Yeah. So we don't know what it is. But what I can say is like there is an interventor here and a very well spread out hacking network.
Right.
So whatever tries to come into the deployment zone will be hacked.
Yep.
Which is a bit of a problem for the tag.
Mm-hmm.
There are transductor zones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, a thing of note is there is a Scene Eater HMG.
Yeah.
Next to a camo marker. The camo is an attack piece, an intruder.
Yeah.
But the Scene Eater is an interesting choice. It's a bit unfree, I would say, a bit early and free. But it's when you will calculate the things, like it still is like it's pretty decent.
Yeah, it's decent. It's very decent.
Yeah, it just doesn't serve any offensive purpose. That's what puts me off this profile.
Yeah. But in terms of just talking a bit more broadly about this nomad list, what we're really looking at is, as Perzan has said, we've got a strong hacking network. So we've got the Interventor, which is a great hacker. We've got
a lot of smoke.
Yep, there's a lot of smoke. So we've got the Morlocks here. I think there's another on the other side. Yep.
Yeah.
We've got
2 Jaguars.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, Jaguars as well, bringing the smoke. We've got repeaters here. If I remember correctly, this camo marker has repeaters. Yep, that's a 0 with repeaters.
Yeah,
so
repeater.
There are a lot of repeaters around.
And EM mines.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a neat profile.
Yeah. So
it is not a specialist.
No.
But it has the EM mines, which makes it a great roadblock for a tag.
So one of the things that I'm thinking immediately, if I were the Pano player playing first, there are quite a few threats here. Firstly, of course, we don't know what these camo markers are, right? So we've got this, and this.
Mm-hmm.
They could well have repeaters. In some cases, they do. They could have nasty mines. They could be hackers.
Well, camo marker cannot have a repeater, but they can be hackers.
They could be hackers themselves, yes. The other thing to bear in mind is, we know the Interventor is down, right? So we know that the Nomad player has hacking presence on the board. Crucially, we also know, if I am correct, I think there are 13 models on the board that we can see. That means we've got reasonably good information that they've got at least 1 or 2 hidden models. One of which is this one up here, which we've put up here just so that you can see for illustrative purposes. But obviously the Pano player has no idea it's there. And there's a drop troop as well that's been kept off the board, a Hellcat. So as a Pano player facing this, you know that you're facing tricks. You know you're facing hacking, lots of camouflage. There's something you don't know about going on.
Yes, I'm just searching for the Pano in the army, just to check if there is one profile of interest. Yeah, there is a Spectre hacker and a Spectre with EM mines and deployable repeater. So there is a potential, like with 13 models on the table, that there is a TO camo model hiding somewhere that has a hacking device or an EM mines or a repeater.
Right. So what does this actually mean for playing first? What it means for playing first is that
don't invest tag.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. So you really don't want to be running your tag into the middle of the board, right? This kind of stuff.
Which is counterintuitive because that's all you want to do with this list. So let's figure out what we can do with it and not die and actually remove enough models so that it matters. And let's remember that we assume this is like a supremacy mission.
Yeah.
So we actually have to be at least drawing the number of the zones controlled in the first turn if we want to have actually a chance of winning.
Yeah. So what sticks out to you, Perzan, as some easy first moves, some kind of reasonably risk-free good first moves that you'd think about?
Okay, so I know the one that you like. I'm still like thinking if I want to do it first or
Sure.
second. Yeah, but like trying to take out this Sin Eater with the Dragao looks kind of alright. Like
So
it's a
this
free
line here.
order.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a free order, and there is a little chance that you will suffer any damage. And
Right.
even if we connect with one shot, then he's dead because of
Right.
shock.
Yeah.
And we have a Plowbot and the Machinist there,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
we should be pretty alright.
So the upside of this play is that there's reasonably little risk to the tag because of your high armor. The downside is that because the Sin Eater has mimetism and total reaction, it might take you a couple of orders to get through it properly.
Yeah, it is a potential order thing.
Yes, it can be.
Which is like what an aero piece is supposed to do.
Right. Yeah. What
Yeah.
about opening the board up a little bit? Do we have any options to to kind of reveal models or to, I don't know, give us a bit more information?
Yes, the Icon actually has a lot of sensor on the dudes. So the one easy like to wrap your head around is on the left flank.
This one here.
You can try to reveal this camo because it can be a hacker or something that can threaten your tag's advance. And like ideally, the tag would like to remove this guy and advance, and try to maybe take out this guy, or I don't know. There's a repeater there, so you don't want to go there. But potentially, like parking him up here, like in suppression or something, or just trying to gun the line, is still a good thing.
Okay.
So we want to remove this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So there are two different things that we've just spoken about. The first is, if you have a very good attack piece and you have a reasonably safe pick-off, then it's usually a decent idea to think about taking that pick-off. The Sin Eater might take a few orders, but it's very unlikely to hurt the tag. So that's a reasonable move. The second thing is that...
And why is it unlikely to hurt the tag? Like
just
the
because
armor,
of the high armor, right? So it's armor 8.
Yeah, 8 plus
cover,
3.
Up to 11.
11.
So you only need 5s or something to save against any HMG hit, which is obviously really solid. The second thing I was just quickly going to say is, because the Nomad player is playing with so much hidden information, right? You've got all of these camo markers. One of the best things you can do is just start to open the board up by discovering those camo markers. So if you do have sensor in the list, it's good to use the sensor to do that. But otherwise, you might want to start thinking about using, I don't know, perhaps skirmishers or some other cheaper units to push forward and start discovering things and threatening them. An example of a model like that is a Peacemaker, I think, in Pano. Can do that kind of thing. Cheap.
We don't have a Peacemaker here,
no,
unfortunately.
not on this one. No, but we do have sensor.
Yeah,
we've got sensor here.
Yeah. So and another thing about what you just said is exactly like, if you just are a little bit afraid of investing the tag, do this work with other guys, but don't invest too many guys like that could die to it, because then you are like losing more orders. It is like always like risk reward. So if you run like a one Rambo piece that is very strong, but can be isolated or like can have some counters, it might be actually better to still invest and lose this one guy than lose like 3 or 4 regular guys, because this will drop your list efficiency in the later turns.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, let's agree on like doing the sensor here.
Right. So we want to push this sensor up and find out what this camo marker is.
Yeah, so we would spend the order, like, I would assume, like, we are dropped by two orders for the command token.
Sure.
So the first order would be to move here, the second to move here.
Yeah.
So that's one short skill, like one order.
Yeah.
And then he should be able to safely tow out here because there is a terrain blocking and sensor this area in the next order. And he's already in the zone, which is another thing that's to consider.
Right.
Like
so
he's not in the safest spot.
Yeah. So if this is something like quadrant control, this is a very safe move. You're moving up into the zone and you're threatening this camouflage piece. Yeah.
Like it looks pretty safe to move up to here, but we know there's a specter, like
some kind of
this
sniper.
Tio camo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if we didn't know, then I would maybe consider moving him up to here.
Right, and hiding behind here. Yeah.
Yeah. But another consideration, there is a line that this camo can be seen through here.
Yeah.
So you don't actually want to move here because then this guy may die.
Yeah. Something like that. So we can keep the regular hidden, move him up, censor this. And then once it has been censored, we could move something like the Sierra total reaction remote out to here, possibly, and maybe take some favourable shots. Otherwise, we've got the Naga here, one or the other.
Yeah, like I'm already worried about the number of orders we have. So in order to like raise the efficiency of the orders, I think, what do you think about maybe censoring on this flank as well as a coordinated order?
I like that idea. So we could coordinate the two regulars together. Doing so would break this fire team, if that was the leader. I don't know if it was the leader. I'm not sure.
No, like...
No,
it would...
no,
yeah.
that's fine.
But I think if you spend an order there, like it, at least in N3, it broke the whole fire team. Like later, fuck, I don't know how it works in N4. So we already spent one order and we're down to 7. So in order to censor here, we will be down to 6, and in order to censor here, we will be down to 4 because move here and censor.
Absolutely.
And for 4 orders, sure, we can use the Sierra to remove him. That's fine. But then we only have 4 orders for the tag and this. How was it called? Naga.
It's a Naga. Yeah.
So this Naga is in a good position to maybe try to engage those guys, but they only had 4 orders, which is a concern for me.
So you want to start coordinating really, so that you can maximize your
movement. This is something to consider. Because most likely you will burn through 3 command tokens in the first turn if you want to coordinate the sensors, like to move first and then to censor as a coordinate. That's 2 command tokens down the drain.
Yes.
And then you have to reform the link.
Yes.
So that's third command token. So this might seem a bit costly.
But what's the payoff of taking that action? Like, why would we consider doing that?
Yeah, because I'm afraid this Naga might need... well, no, it looks like 1 order, 2 orders, 3 orders, 4 orders. Yeah, so I think like I would prefer to have at least 1 order to either re-camo or be able to take another shot at those.
Right, so we need to start trying to efficiently threaten the mid board. We need to be very careful.
Yeah, so I think like maybe instead of like coordinating twice, we should maybe coordinate once and like save 1 command token so that we have 1 more order in the first group.
Sure.
So like this seems a bit counterintuitive to move this sensor guy, but these guys will be a huge problem if you don't deal with them. So I think actually these are my priority right now.
So you'd run this sensor guy
like
up to
this
here.
guy is still very important. Yeah, so let's do this right now.
Sure.
So let's spend a regular order. Let's
Flip that
unlock
order.
him and let's move him like 4,
Yep, that's 1.
and then another something.
Yeah, you've even got a
And
tiny bit more as well, but sure.
yeah, he looks a bit like he could be already in distance here.
Yeah.
So then I would coordinate
Can I measure?
those two guys.
I can't measure for some reason.
Those
Oh well.
I would coordinate those two guys and something else. This could be the tag.
Yeah.
So you could maybe try to shoot with him first and then coordinate to move to another position, but it seems a bit risky. Yeah, so I would censor first and maybe reposition other guys, but I don't see really many other guys to reposition.
No. You might want to push
maybe
the
this guy.
Sierra up.
Oh, this guy is a juicy target to coordinate.
Yes.
But if you coordinate him, this guy most likely will just discover.
Right, so you really need to get rid of that Sinita first, because it's going to be taking discovers to threaten this Naga.
Yeah, so let's try it. So let's spend the irregular order for the Dragao first.
Sure.
And try to engage the Siniter. Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Let's not roll dice here, and then let's coordinate those guys.
So 1,
if
2,
this guy
3. Yeah.
3, yeah, and possibly the Dragao to fall back if he wants to, or move to other position. But I don't think it's safe to push with him right now. And then move this guy like a little bit because I don't think he needs much.
Yeah. Just to make sure.
I think here would be all right. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, and let's check if it's enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was enough already. And then he should like at least fall back to here, like to have some cover. And then this guy should move slightly forward. Sensor. Yeah. No, that's
just
almost
about
in.
8.1.
So you have to be careful. Yeah. And then fall back slightly. And this Naga should start moving.
Yeah. Come up to here.
And then like not in the sensor first shot skill.
Sure.
So that's why you want to remove this guy, because if you don't remove this guy, you cannot coordinate the Naga.
Right. So we open up the board first.
Yeah. Like this guy most likely would reveal and take a shot at the tag.
Yeah.
So now let's assume we censor those guys and they are revealed.
Should we reveal them?
Yeah. Oops.
What have we got here? A bandit, forward observer with a shotgun, a 0 hacker, and this one over here is a 0 with mines and a repeater. Deployable repeaters.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so we don't want any of that. Like he can wreck the tag stay and with either of his deployables, and most likely he will deploy one of them. But that also makes him easy to remove. So let's spend the order on the Sierra. And actually move to here.
Yeah.
Just to see him, like 3 inches and then back, because that's a good position.
Yeah.
And take shots. He will most likely deploy a repeater or an EM mine. I think a repeater gives him more options.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Sierra would be able to like
just to come
from
to
here.
Yeah, and take that long shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Like at least I would rather deploy a repeater if I still like 4 orders on the tag.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
and I'm concerned.
If the Nomads player suspects they're going to lose the 0, it's likely they put a mine or a repeater down. And then we also want to push the Naga up, I think, so that we're in this zone, so we're scoring and we're threatening these. Hopefully we've removed them, in theory. This is a little bit dangerous, of course, because the bandit has a template.
Yeah, you could maybe try to spend actually second turn orders to engage this Naga
Yeah.
through here.
So this Naga
If
could
they
come
are
up.
revealed, you
Yeah.
can try to engage, but there is like this flash push bot that could. No, he cannot see you.
No, I don't think he can.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
So this
So I
one
think it is actually
comes.
pretty alright to go there. Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's like 4 orders to go there.
Do you want to measure it out? Yeah. That's 4, 2,
Yeah.
2. So you cut up there.
Yeah.
Second
Then
order.
next order.
You probably get to the just about, not quite.
Yeah, I think you can already
You can
see
see it. You can
this
see
guy.
both actually.
Yeah, so you don't want to do this. Like you want to move like to here to
Right.
just see.
Then you see the 0.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to not see both at some point.
Yeah. If you were here, Perzan.
No, you can. Yeah, you
If
can.
you were
Yeah,
there, Perzan,
definitely.
you could see him. Yeah.
Yeah, he will have cover. He can discover or delay. Now you have to choose what you do. I think since he has a hacker and has a combi, and you have a Doggett, you want to engage him from this distance, even though he has a cover and mimetism.
Yeah. So you'd be on 9s, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you remove him, that's good. Then you have then you can spend next order and remove this guy, and that's golden then.
That's amazing. Yeah.
And then you can just camo here.
Yeah.
Or just go prone.
You could go prone and just chill out up here. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's assume like that you remove them both. You cannot like be prone in the order that you remove this guy, but next order you can just go prone and like chill here.
Mm-hmm.
You are a bit susceptible to the interventor, but okay, he's not a killer hacker. So let's assume that's the plan for this guy.
Yeah.
And this actually means that we a bit wasted the coordinate the middle Naga, but this is our backup plan. So if any of those things don't succeed, and because let's say this Sierra might not remove this guy in one volley, and then you don't have the 4 orders here
to do that.
So you might just be able to like move 2 orders to here to move this guy, and this is already huge because then you are just engaging this guy and not them both.
Yeah.
So I would continue with this plan and like move the Naga to here for 1 order, and then down to 3. Try to I don't know go to here, place a deployable.
Yeah. So you can put a mine down.
Yeah.
Especially if you can't be seen, of course, that's a really safe place. If you hide around the doorway, put a mine there.
Yeah, like depending on whether they leave or not. If they don't leave, if they don't leave, then you are safe. You can just camo here and chill. If they leave, then you want to engage them and double tap them, basically.
Yeah. So.
And then the Dragao here.
Yeah, that's the last piece.
Yeah, I think if you have any orders on him, I would like fold him a little bit back, but I think here he will be still in the zone, which is pretty amazing and protected from all the different angles and protected by the snipers. And so what you want to do is spend command token, and I think this position is still good for this guy to be in the link. But if you have another order, I would still move him like behind the building.
To safety, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just think a little bit about what we've said here. So the first thing that we noticed was that the Pano list has the capability for a lot of long-range aggression in the tag, the snipers, the total reaction remote and things. The Nomads list had a lot of hidden information, and we knew that it had strong hackers, so we couldn't commit the tag to the midboard, because doing that would just be suicidal. So what we wanted to do in our first turn was leverage our long-range superiority where we can. So if we get to use the tag to take this shot here, which is reasonably safe. It's a bit of a dice-off, but it's reasonably safe. And then we want to reveal as much of the Nomad's hidden information as possible. We want to know where their repeaters are, where their hackers are. We want to know what everything is. And then we can start taking steps to clear out the mid-boards.
Yes, like notice how little we actually did with the tag, but I think like against this sort of list with so much hidden information and hackers and EM mines and close combat specialists, you have to play it pretty safely.
So it's actually
Like
quite difficult,
this guy
isn't
is
it?
hanging in
Yeah,
the wind. Yeah.
it is tough because when you're playing a faction, or if you're playing a list that has a tag against quite a tricksy list with lots of hackers and repeaters, you do need to keep your distance, because if you don't, you're going to get punished. So sometimes the first turn is about just poking out a little bit, taking a few shots, and then hiding away again.
Like if everything went as planned, then we would remove 1, 2, 3, 4 orders.
Yep.
Potentially more like 3, because I assume like we would need like 2 or 3 orders to remove this guy.
Yeah.
But if this Sierra action and then this Naga action were efficient, then we would have those orders on this guy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So taking safe shots where possible, and then trying to clear out some of the skirmishers. Once the skirmishers are gone, the mid-board becomes a lot safer for this tag here, because you know that the surprises are kind of removed. It's hard to commit big expensive pieces into dangerous areas of the board when you just physically don't know what the opponent has in their list, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
probably enough
I just
on this
noticed
one.
just one thing, that this Naga is in view of this guy, so that's a bit
That
of a
is
problem.
something to bear in mind.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that's
Okay.
enough on this one. Shall we load up the
Yep.
other map and have a look at a different example? Oh, we've unlocked stuff, so we need to delete it. Boop. Gone.
Yep.
So this second example. Oh, I can see another copy of the board. Can you see that?
Delete it. No, it's in the
Yeah,
blue
I've got rid of
box, so you are the only guy that can see it.
Oh, I deleted it. What's this one? I think this one is Hack Islam versus Pano. Do you want to talk about the Pano first or the Hack Islam?
I think Pano, because Hakistan was deploying to go first. We actually got this deployment, like the Pano was deploying against an empty board, which is always like a bad thing to be faced with. So they didn't know any threats, but normally in such a mission like a firefight or decap, they would be deploying against an opponent that chose to go first. So
yeah,
they would be able to like leverage their position somewhat.
Yeah, it was obviously very difficult for the Pano player because he didn't know what the opponent was, but we'll play with it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a core fire team on the left here.
We've got there is a Karhu with a Feuerbach.
Yeah, so this is an MSV1 Mimetism dude with a Feuerbach +1 burst as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, really nice piece.
MSV1. Yeah. Climbing plus.
In a core link, obviously, so obviously they're all +3 ballistic skill, 6 sense, +1 burst, all of that good stuff.
There's an Orc HMG as well, which in a core link it's an additionally dangerous. Then a thing of note in this positioning, like they are guarding the corners hard. Like there's a boarding shotgun here.
Yeah.
There is this guy watching 6. There is Fugazi watching this entrance and this entrance.
Yep.
Yeah, and yeah.
Yeah, so they've done a really good job of covering the left-hand side in this angle over here. Right, yeah. What else is there? In the mid board, I think we've got this. This is a Peacemaker.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
with a Flamer bot.
Right.
And the Flamer bot is also watching here to throw an discovers versus like impersonators.
Yep.
That would try to go there.
And
Just
then
need touch.
it's not too much
There's
else, is
a
there?
Locust.
Yep. So this is an infiltrating
Locust hacker. Which also has a repeater network behind him.
And then we've got the Harry's team,
Then,
haven't we?
yeah. And Nisa, multi-sniper with MSV2 and Mimetism.
Yep.
In Harris with Machinist and Agnes Ferreira.
Cool. So we've
So
got
two specialists here.
cheap engineer and a cheap forward observer with an SMG. Yep.
Yeah. Then we have Fugazi watching front, and Noken, FO. So another ODD trooper like Mimetism -6.
Yeah.
And then we have a Mule bot total reaction.
Yeah.
Which is a neat touch.
That's cool. Yeah, total reaction on the mule bot here. Not the HMG version. It's just a rifle.
Yeah, no 360, but very good at close ranges here.
Should we look at the hack
So-
side
so-
quickly?
Yes.
Where do you want to start with this one?
From the left.
Sure.
So there is a lieutenant here, like hiding.
Yeah.
There is a biker because there is a congested
Oh, I see.
side of the table, so the biker can pretty easily advance there. Like this car who would start seeing here, maybe.
Right. So you've got some leeway. You can move up a bit.
Yeah. There is a Ghazi, a hacker, a flash pulse bot. Then there is a sniper, which is positioned to be able to remove this guy, possibly.
Right. Okay. So you can
So
see
this
that
is the
position.
benefit for the hack, because we are deploying hack second. Normally, I think this hacker would be more like in the this sniper would be like more like here or here.
Right. This sniper would move over a bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, but we have this advantage to actually be able to try to take advantage of the range.
Yep.
And then there is
got a Mukhtar.
Mukhtar.
Yeah. So MSV2.
A Ghazi with smoke.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Smoke dude. Yeah.
An HMG here.
HMG.
A camo. Dailami, and the camo.
Right, so lots of camo as well. Lots of camo.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of big guns on the Islam side. We've got HMG, we've got Red Fury, lots of camouflage in the middle, and a sniper back here.
Yeah, so the advantage of vanilla versus a sectorial is that actually the attack pieces are spread out pretty evenly throughout the table. So if you just look at the guns and the potential threat they represent, there is this Mukhtar here, there is HMG here, so they cover different ranges and can engage different targets.
Okay.
Then there is the sniper here, which can also engage like targets from far away. Then here is the Spitfire. And a biker, with a very nasty biker for close range.
Right.
And then another attack piece is this
we forgot
impersonation.
Talk about the Fide. So we've got an impersonation marker here, just on the edge. So one of the things to note is that the sectorial deployment we just looked at is quite tight. You've got this kind of like core team here. Oops, that's a line. I meant to get a pen. We've got this core team here that's quite tightly packed, and then we've got a Harry's team over here. Whereas the Hack Islam side is way more spread out. You've got gun here, one here, one here, one here. We've got a bike. It's the advantage of playing vanilla, obviously, is that you've got a lot more flexibility to spread out.
Yes, like whenever I play like with infiltrated specialists or like infiltrated combat specialists with templates. When I see links, I see target-rich environment.
Right. So links just present you lots of targets in a small area. So
yes, of course they are more difficult to engage.
Yeah.
Yes. So the question of this FIDE, like assuming the Hack Islam player goes first, like, and he drops the FIDE as a reserve. So obviously there would be a reserve on the other side.
Right. So this impersonator
I dropped
goes
him
down
here.
last for the Hack Islam.
Yeah. But he would be possibly countered by something. Maybe even this this remote.
Possibly.
I don't know. It's like not the best piece, but like I misdeployed this impersonation because I thought it was a normal mule bot, not like the total reaction bot. So we can as well assume that he was dropped as a counter deployment. So on the other flank, there is also like a spot that is pretty juicy in targets for the template, but this is definitely death sentence for the FIDE.
Right. Because of the shotguns and things.
Because of the shotguns, because of Sixth Sense, because of like multitude of guns pointing this way.
Absolutely. So you went for the softer area, I guess.
I went for the specialists actually, because assuming this is firefight because of the layout of the table, like the deployment is 12, so maybe not firefight. But let's assume this is a firefight. Then there are two specialists here and a third specialist here. So this FIDE, being not a specialist, can actually start hunting specialists and like try to get a lead on the specialist skill.
Yeah, right. So in any mission where it's kind of specialist dependent, it's really nice to deploy an impersonation marker, or otherwise just to threaten enemy specialists in your first turn. It's a really nice first turn play if you can do it.
Yeah, like if it was an army without access to impersonator, my reserve drop would most likely be this Mukhtar or a similar piece. So a guy that can take advantage of smoke and has visor and mimetism. So basically a very good, reliable gunfighter.
Right.
So this is also like a very convincing threat vector, but he still doesn't want to engage a guy with a visor with Sixth Sense.
No, you don't want to be engaging that core link, really. I remember in the last example we said you want to be looking out for the safe face-to-face rolls, and obviously that is not a safe roll because he has a visor and is in the core link.
Yeah, and this is not a safe exchange either.
Right.
Because here you don't gain anything by removing this guy.
Yep.
So you need to move past him. And if you move past him, then there are also nanopulsars.
Yep.
And snipers.
Yep.
So you have to weigh your options.
Right. So there's a direct template here, basically. There's total reaction here. So this is actually quite tricky. It's not the easiest thing.
Yeah, so what we can do with the Hack Islam is to start, like, take advantage of the irregular guys you don't really care about, which are very important to your plan, but they are for a purpose there. So you can notice there are 3 dynamis. So one option is to engage either of the aero pieces with a coordinated Panzerfaust strike.
Right.
So you can spend a command token and
command token and coordinate your Dailami and take out this this Nice, the sniper, or the Kahu, one or the other.
Yes. The problem is they are both pretty hard to hit because of mimetism and most likely cover. So this is not an easy pickup. Even if you just coordinating 3, they can still all miss. And most likely you will lose at least 2 of them because one of the Denise will shoot one and the car will shoot the other. And most likely they will win, and the guy that is actually not face-to-facing might as well miss his shot.
Yeah, it's not a very safe option.
Yeah, and it's costly because of the command token. So this is a good thing if you only have one target, but as they are deployed, they have too many targets actually that can shoot back at them. Another option is like this guy could just go for a YOLO play and template this guy.
So just to make it clear, this Dailami has a shotgun and a Panzerfaust. The Panzerfaust is great at taking those long-range shots, but the shotgun's really, really nice at threatening this skirmisher, like the Locust here.
Yes, the Locust has a reasonably high physical, so this might still not work, but this is 8 points and an order that is irregular. You will definitely be losing this guy because he can delay and dodge if you template.
Yep.
This guy will shoot you, and most likely this guy will also shoot you. So this guy is as good as dead. But if this guy fails his physical, or if he dodges and you just say, okay, so I shoot you with the face-to-face roll,
right,
just to make it more difficult for you, despite his ODD, or like Mimetis -6, then you might still hit him.
Yeah, absolutely, especially with 2 shots, right?
Yes. Cool. Now another play here that is pretty safe is to use this guy, spend like 2 orders to engage this remote, which also is an attack piece for the Pano. So it is a throwaway attack piece and a repeater. So removing him will be of a great benefit for you.
Right.
And so, this is also a trade because this Nisa will definitely see your path here. So you are losing this Dailami.
Right.
But this is like low risk, high reward.
So in factions like HackIslam that have these cheap skirmishers, it's really advantageous early on to make these favourable trades. You know, trading this 8-point guy for a Peacemaker which has a repeater and a good gun. It's just a really nice trade, and you come out ahead, and that sets up an advantage which you can take into turn 2 and turn 3.
Yes, like another attacks that you could take is shoot with the sniper at the flash push bot, because there is literally nothing that can happen to your sniper. You can just be blinded and that's it.
Right, so that's safe.
And if you are blinded, then yeah, exactly. Another such thing is this Mukhtar engaging this Fugazi. If he just goes to this corner, then there is no line from the Karhu,
right,
or the Orc, because of the car.
Truck. Yeah.
Yeah. So you could actually engage just the flash push bot, and just by doing this, you are engaging in 4 different spots on the table, and potentially removing 1, 2, 3, 4 orders for the opponent.
2 very safe orders. Sniper sees this flash pulse spot. That's a really safe, order to spend. You are only burst 2, so it might take a couple of orders, but you literally cannot die because it's just a flash pulse.
Yeah.
Same with the Mukhtar here, moving out to the corner, taking on this flash pulse spot. Same again. Can't die, just a flash pulse. You're also BTS 6 in this example, but you know, whatever. Either way, doesn't matter. Couple of trades with the cheap troops. So we've got the Dailami here that can start threatening these midfield skirmishers. I know for a fact that Locusts are in the region of 30 points and this Dailami's 8, so that's an embarrassing trade, really. Yeah, so there's a couple of options there. What else are you thinking about?
Like this Dailami, you are running out of orders in the second group already, so I would leave him actually to protect this this area. Because I most likely will have to start with like 1 regular order, and he will use him on this guy already because he needs to spend his irregular then regular to engage this guy. Yeah, so there is no good attack run with this guy because I only have 1 order. He can maybe like try to shoot at this guy with a Panzerfaust if you really want it, but it's becoming expensive because otherwise this guy is much safer in a camo state.
Absolutely.
Even though it's camo 0, you still eat an order of your opponents.
Do you want to talk a bit about this guy? here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are reaching the point like where we start most likely with like 8 regular orders in the first group, and this is dropped down to 6. So we used 1 on the sniper, and we used 1 on the Mokhtar, so that's 4 more orders remaining.
Yes.
And the Fide does, like, in order to engage those guys, you would need to move past the remote.
Yeah.
So that's
1,
4,
4, 4. So that's
4. So you are here in full view.
Yep.
Somebody would discover you on the second short skill, most likely.
Yes.
Like this Nisa will most likely see you on the second short skill.
Yep.
So be free to discover you. Then you spend next order to move here, potentially.
Yep. So that's 2.
Or you just engage them.
Yeah.
Like you can just trade away, like moving here and like putting template on all of them,
so
if you can.
you could
And
be a bit
this
risky.
looks like, yeah, this looks like an okay trade, because potentially you can just trade 3 of the guys for 1 Fide.
Yeah.
But you are trading also your threat projection. So you have to weigh your options.
Right.
I think. Because if they all dodge, then that's great, because then you survive with the Fide and you can do this again for the last order. Or you can like impersonate or remove this total reaction bot.
Right.
And that's for orders for the Fide. But most likely, if they all go to dodge, like 2 of them will pass, most likely. And then you are forced to like put a template, so you are not using your face-to-face rolls, and you really want to template to engage the Nisa.
So
another option is to shoot with the face-to-face roll, but then you are only targeting 1, which is not a good trade. So I think the Harris would most likely break and like put a template with this guy, and those 2 guys will just dodge.
Right.
Or the Nisa will shoot you.
Yeah. So just to make it completely clear, this Fide is an impersonator, so it starts on the edge. It has a shotgun and a rifle. So with the shotgun, we can either use the templates to try and take on all 3 of these at once, or we can use a kind of direct shot to take on 1. We want to try and use the template to kill all 3, but the problem with that is if they've got a reasonable fizz, which it's not bad, the Nice is 12, the Machinist is 10, so that's not great, to be fair. What's Agnes's fizz? 10. Okay, so the chances of 1 or more of them dodging is reasonably high, basically. And then we need to think quite carefully about whether it's worth doing.
Yeah, so there are other things you can do with your Fide. You could, for example, not engage, and then force your opponent to actually spend orders rooting you out. But this Fide is in a pretty good spot to start with, a pretty bad spot to start with, to be like this. Yeah, so you can, as you can see, like this template can hit all of them because they are standing. So that's also another lesson for you. Like, if this guy was prone, there was no way of hitting both him and him.
Right.
So yeah, another lesson for you. Go prone if you can. So another thing this Fide could do, if this guy is removed, this Fide could maybe spend an order to move here, like out of line of fire to this guy.
Yep.
If he delays, then do nothing. Basically be here behind him with stealth. If he discovers or like lookouts or something, then you can just shoot him for free.
Yeah.
But let's like not assume like this player is not knowing what is going on. So then you can engage here and maybe target this guy for free, basically.
Right. So you can throw templates or direct shots into the back of this guy.
So yeah, so that's 2 orders. So that's 2 orders to engage him. You could. I'm concerned about moving closer because the car who most likely would start to see here.